Buenas tardes a todos. It's a pleasure once again to be here in Instituto Cervantes of Sydney, hosting a conference with our dear friends from the university sector. In this case, it is our honor to host the third conference under the title Building Bridges Between Australian and Spanish Universities, in this case, focused on the industry. It is a great pleasure for me to host this third conference with our colleagues from the Macquarie University, who were the participants of the first conference that we put in place here in Instituto Cervantes in May last year. And we had a second conference under the same title with our colleagues from Universidad de Loyola, RMIT, and the University of Canberra. Well, here we are once again, in this case, in the third conference under the title, as I said, Building Bridges. And it's a great title because it reflects exactly what we're trying to do, to build bridges with our Australian and our Spanish universities, to be able, in this case, to focus especially on the industrial area. Here we are once again from Instituto Cervantes, putting in place this conference along with SRAP, with our fellow colleagues from the Researchers Association of Spanish Scientists in Australia and the Pacific area. And it is once again along with them that we put in place this conference. And I will surely be sending information soon about the fourth conference that we will surely put in place here in Instituto Cervantes, the fourth conference during this year, 2023. In this case, we have with us once again University of Macquarie, which will be in charge of the first presentation. We also have with us the representative of the University of New South Wales, which we will also present shortly. And it is a great honor to be able to invite and have here with us a representative, the Vice Chancellor from the Universidad Autónoma de Barcelona, el vicerrector Marius Martínez, who is here also with us, coming from Barcelona. Without further ado, I would like to give the floor to the president of SRAP, Ángel López Sánchez, for his opening remarks.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Coral. Thank you, everyone, for coming here. I think I will not be talking for too long, but at least let me quickly mention, if that want to work, that doesn't work. There we go. SRAP, the Spanish Researchers in Australia Pacific, it is a non-profit organization made of many researchers and scientists in Australia, New Zealand, and Pacific Islands. And we have several objectives. And one of the objectives is particularly promoting the mentoring our researchers, science diplomacy, disseminating research and science, strengthening research collaboration between Australia Pacific and Spain, Europe, and connecting academia and industry. And all of these objectives are here today. So we are accomplishing all of this in this series of conferences that we started with Instituto Cervantes last year in May 2022 with the first conference, Building Bridges Between Spanish and Australian Universities. Very successful conferences for that we have already started to have the fruits of all of that, particularly following the first conference. And with Macquarie University, we have started a pioneering collaboration between universities in Spain and universities here at Macquarie University with co-tutel PhD students. And two universities have been already identified, University of Valencia and University of La Laguna Instituto de Física de Canarias, for the interest in astronomy. And we are now looking forward for the next connection that we hope that one of them will probably be the University Autónoma of Barcelona. Thank you very much, Marius, for being here. So that is all I wanted to say. I'm giving the floor to Rebecca. Or do you want to say that? And Rebecca Guinea, the General Consul of Spain in Sydney. Thank you very much, Rebecca, for being here.
Thank you very much, Ángel. Thank you very much, Coral. It's really a pleasure to be in this third conference, to be in this event, which tries actually to build synergies between our two university systems, which I think is of the utmost importance. Thanks. First of all, I would like to thank Coral, which is a director of our Spanish language shrine here in Australia. Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you so much for organizing this event together with SRAP. Angel, thank you so much. And as well, I would like to give my warmest welcome to the Vice Chancellor of the Universidad Autónoma de Barcelona, who is here with us today. I know that you were nearly kidnapped from Melbourne. You were there recently, like 2 days ago. And we are so happy that you could make it here with us today, here in Sydney. Before giving the floor to our guest, I would like just to mention three points which I think are important. And I would like to highlight those 3 small points around this conference. First of all, I think it's such a great thing that we are actually building bridges between 2 countries which are very far apart, very far away, very distant geographically, but so like-minded. In these complex moments where the international arena is in such a turmoil, I think it's very important to choose our counterparts wisely. And that's exactly what we're doing today. Second, the subject we're tackling today, industry and university. Here, again, the perfect match. We have Spain with a very strong based industrial educational system. And on the other hand, we have Australia, which is seeking for skilled labor. This, combined with a very strong business sector on both sides, give us the perfect matching. Third of all, and last but not least, the question of the language. We all know that English is nowadays the language for science and research. But we think here in Instituto Cervantes and from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, which I represent, that is also very important to enlarge this language parcel to give other languages, so as Spanish, a key role in science and research. Having said so, I give the floor to our guest. Thank you so much for having me here. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
There we go. Yes. So if you could please, yes, are both our guests from the Macquarie University. There you go. Oh, great. Yes, can you please come?
Are we sitting here?
Yes, sitting. Yes, please. Here you go.
Thank you.
And you can, of course, stand up anytime you want.
Yes,
if you'd like to. Okay.
Sure. Let me see. Perfect. We're working. Hi. Hello.
So yes, so for our first session, under the name of Research Partnerships at Macquarie University, connecting researchers and HDR students with the world. We have the honor to have today with us once again, Tracy Rushmore, Professor Tracy Rushmore. There's a lot of there.
Yeah.
Professor Tracy Rushmore, Associated Dean, Research Training and Performance from the Macquarie University School of Science and Engineering. And it is an honor to have as well with us Katrina Avery, Director of Partnerships with Macquarie University and part of the Research, Innovation and Enterprise Leadership team. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Well, thank you, Carl. It's an honor to be here again. It's been actually last May. A lot's happened since last May, I might say. We've updated our slides, which is good. But also it's just a real pleasure to see the growth that we've had working with the Instituto Cervantes, Carl, and of course with Angel and SRAP. And I had the pleasure of being at the meeting in the end of November on campus, and we've got some exciting opportunities, including with the University in Barcelona today, which we had the pleasure of hosting you at our university today. Thank you for coming, Marcel. So that's been a real pleasure, and I do think we are seeing a very bright and rosy future in going forward. So yes, I even think I have a new title from last May, but I'm the Associate Dean for Research, Training, and Performance, and I'll be just touching upon some areas in science and engineering where we are looking at top research and industry engagement. And then I'll be passing the mic to Katrina, who will be talking about the overall university engagement process. So just a little bit about our faculty. Now note the university, Macquarie University, is made up of 4 faculties. There's arts, which includes law, there's business, there's the medical faculty, and I represent the science and engineering faculty. The science and engineering faculty is largest. It's got the most HDR students, higher degree research students, and master's students. And it brings in the bulk of the research funding, and it has the bulk of the industry engagement. So although we are working on spreading out industry engagement clearly with business, it's just not such a big faculty. These are just some of our numbers here. So just general numbers around. We are bouncing back up with after COVID. We're not really past COVID, but we're starting to live with it, if you will. And we certainly are engaging with a lot more higher degree research students. And these include both master's students and PhD students, but not the coursework students. Those are sort of seen as postgraduate coursework, but we're also very excited about including them in our agreements with exchange and mobility with Spanish universities. So this is actually higher. This is from last year. So we're actually increasing our research income, which has been very exciting. So things are moving up, which is great. So our faculty is composed of 4 schools and 2 departments. So the School of Natural Resources is 50% pretty much of the HDR students, about 250, 300, actually over 300 now, masters in HDR, so PhD students. So it's a really big school. It encompasses biology, it encompasses genomics, synthetic biology, it encompasses environment, and it encompasses I guess it would be more ecology, if you will, and also some of the specific research areas I'll talk about, including the Transformational Science Training Center, which is looking at kind of additions to food, basically. So we do a type of food science that's new. So that's happened in the last year. We have the School of Mathematical and Physical Sciences, which is composed of math, stats, physics, and astronomy. And also we have a big center for quantum computing in this school. So that belongs to the Quantum Computing Academy, which is the SQA, which is part of the Sydney Basin. So we have very interesting, a range of scholarships, I'd say, because they go for extra time and they have top-ups. And so we have these extra sort of special research areas that we're growing at the moment. So this would have the SQA in it, and again, a very interesting growth area, quantum computing. We have the School of Engineering, which is growing. We have a new, since last time I was here, we have a new head of school named Aman O, and he's come from Auckland Technical University, and we're getting a new building that's right in the middle of campus. So they're actually being spread around right now. But by the time I speak, hopefully here again, we'll probably hopefully have the new building up. It's under a push to be built quite quickly, which will also house the Australian Astronomical Optics, which is where Angel is, and SRAP president is based in this department here. So there is strong links here and some interesting links here with cube satellites and that sort of thing. And I'll talk a little bit more about this department. It's very focused on instrumentation. That's why it works well with the School of Engineering. And these two will be housed together in the new building, and I look forward to seeing that synergy. We have the School of Computing, which is our fastest growing school. It's also jumping up the ratings. It's now top 200. Really exciting leadership there and lots of hires there because it contains the largest number of undergraduates, which helps fund new positions. So we've been involved in quite a few hires into the School of Computing. Again, looking a lot at data, big data, AI, machine learning. That's all going to be based here and is based here. So our AI, and as we all know about ChatGPT now for GPT is a big part of what this school is looking at, and looking at also interesting aspects of risk around AI. And so there's been some work with one of the professors, Amin Beheshti, has been working with the E-Commissioner of Safety. I don't know if you know Julie Emmon Grant, who's often in the news about safety around social media and looking at the role of AI and in risk. So that's a new area of growth. And that's something that's very new compared to where we were even last May. And the Department of Applied Biosciences is very industry oriented. So this has lots of already industry funded grants. They look at food security, they look at fruit flies and the danger of fruit flies and the methods of mitigation and risk assessment due to issues around pests. So just I've already talked quite a bit about the different schools. Let's see, I can just sort of say over time, this is where we have lots of strength. So as I was mentioning, biology, we have evolution, animal behavior, earth science, and then environmental science around energy and contaminants. So that's also pollution, looking at those issues. And we have the physics and astronomy, which has been a long time strength at Macquarie University. Building unique strengths, and this is I was mentioning, is sort of molecular sciences, genomics, we have synthetic biology, we have nanomaterials, and we have quite a few areas around, like I was mentioning, the FAB, the new teaching center, ARC Teaching and Application Center, which is bringing in industry, new industry funding. Computer science is already, we should say, could be popped over here. Lots of strength in computer science that's been growing over the past year. And AAO, which has now come in to its own quite a bit as we move into getting AAO more, I guess, intertwined, if you will, with the mathematical and physical sciences. Engineering definitely has needed attention and has been given lots of attention. So we are growing quite a bit in terms of our technology. We are very well known for wireless, but we need to grow and build from that. So the new head of school will be looking, doing a lot more of, for example, risk, and we're doing a lot of hydrogen now, which is of interest as we move forward. And that's not even listed here yet. So we are, like I said, I've updated the slides, but still need to update more. It tells really exciting time of growth now that we're kind of coming into a period of where we had some cuts and now we're not moving out forward again, which is very exciting. And finally, over on the right, the math and stats side, very much a new head of school was brought in a few years ago. Sam Mueller has done a wonderful job of building up applied mathematics and theoretical. We're extremely well known in category theory, if anybody knows what that is, but we're one of the top in the world. And so that's often fun to see, incredible students coming out from that school. See if I can move on. There we go. Just some of the courses. I won't spend too much time, but you can sort of see where we might be a little bit different. For example, IT games design. We have quite an interesting area in games design. Biodiversity and conservation, cybersecurity. This sits within the computing. And then we have the AI, as I mentioned. We have masters in AI and Internet of Things. These are all the growth that's happening in computing right now. And then coursework masters shown here. I won't spend too much time on that, but this is an opportunity for mobility and exchange where we can offer bespoke degrees. Investment in key growth areas, electrical engineering, mechanical, cybersecurity. This is already growing. Like this is already investment where new academic positions are coming in and we're hiring actively in these areas. And then again, our internship aspects, as we were talking about today and previously, of the interest also dovetailing with the higher degree research graduate research academy at Macquarie University, looking at internships and really getting on board. There is in fact, I was just talking to Jason Ford of Macquarie University earlier today, just about the national industry PhD program that's coming into place and how we're working with the government to try and have a lot more industry engagement. So this is a really good timing for our third meeting today. So these are, as I was mentioning, I'm going to talk just a little bit about some of our recent activities. Smart green cities, very exciting area. That's natural sciences with engineering and computing. So we're starting to look at these centers that go beyond just one school. So here we have Smart Green Cities has Internet of Things, has data analysis, and has greening of our cities. We have the Center of Excellence in Synthetic Biology. This is a real strength. We just brought in some more money, more grants for that. And the NRMA new center that's going to be built, which is partly to deal with viruses, clearly triggered by some of the research that went into managing COVID's vaccination program. Living Seawalls, very big program in trying to form environmental habitats for creatures, sea creatures, as we start to trying to rebuild, for example, the oysters in Sydney Harbor, the Sydney Institute of Marine Science, all sorts of aspects. Now, we're quite proud of Living Seawalls because they're receiving quite a bit of funding from Australia, but also was nominated in Earthshot, which was Prince William's program out of the UK. They came in top 5. They didn't win, unfortunately, but top 5 gave them some contracts with Dubai. So we're looking at this as becoming a very internationally known program. So we're very proud of that. And finally, this is what I was mentioning around FAB. It's called Advancing Australia's Bioactives with Food. That's based in molecular sciences. So Smart Green Cities, just a little bit, you can see how we move across the different disciplines. We have nature-based solutions, urban biodiversity, climate-ready plant, which plant where program, Internet of Things, and smart technology sits within computing. And of course, we have the data analytics. And of course, David, we do a lot of privacy work. And then finally, over here in sustainable cities with the engineering side of things, you get the design, renewable energy solutions. We do a lot with, this could involve some of our hydrogen and resource management. This is the synthetic biology program. It's it's actually more started off as an ARC center with the laureate Professor Ian Paulson running it. But in fact, there's doing some spin-off companies now that actually sit on campus. So we have a really strong industry component. So basically, this is what we're talking today about, industrial translation, but it's basically developing new biochemistry, synthetic microbial communities, synthetic organelles, which is quite interesting, and these can be quite research-intensive areas, but we are already seeing some industry applications to that. So pretty exciting work, although I have to admit I'm not fully across it. This is Living Seawalls, and Carl, are you starting to wave at me to say I better move on? So I will, I'm moving very quickly, but I will go back here and say Living Seawalls, the structures I mentioned. This is the Australian Bioactives. Of course, this is a bit hard to read, but basically a brand new training center that's national. We have diverse areas, and this is going to be state-of-the-art astronomical instrumentation through AAO, and some of the things that we're doing in engineering and physics. And I'll just show some of the instrumentation from the AAO. And then some of the key engineering areas that we've discussed, for example, mobile communications, which were known, risk and safety, satellite systems. So we do quite a big range, and we're still growing. Some of our HDR international work, joint enrollments with the universities. We have probably more than that now for COTUTEL to date. We're probably above, I should be like above 500, at least I think almost 600. And we have, this date didn't get updated, but we have about 162 currently enrolled COTUTEL and joint students. And we're starting to, as we discussed earlier today and other times, a broad group of international partners, and looking forward to expanding that. And I think I'll just leave it there. You've already seen our key initiatives around industry partnerships, AI-enabled processes, the Training Transformation Center, Fruit Fly Biosecurity, and cybersecurity are still more areas that we're looking for industry partners. And I think I better stop there before I go too long and hand over to Katrina.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Tracy. All right, I'll just, thank you. Take the clicker, take my mic. Excellent. Well, pleasure to meet you all. And thank you very much, Tracy, for the introduction and really importantly, the overlay, I think, of the great expertise and the great capacity that we have at Macquarie University and specifically within our Faculty of Science and Engineering. So with that kind of context in mind about the capability and the capacity and the offerings and the expertise that we have at Macquarie, specifically in that faculty, and noting, of course, more broadly as an institution, the skills that we have there, I wanted to give you a bit of an insight today into how industry and external partners, including, of course, other universities, can connect, engage, and partner with Macquarie University, including specifically through research, but also just more broadly thinking about that partnership piece. So I'm Katrina Avery, and I am the Director of Partnerships at Macquarie University, and I lead our Macquarie Partnerships team. And I have joining me today Matthew Bevan from our team, who's our Research Partnership Manager, looking after the Faculty of Science and Engineering. So at the close of the event, encourage you to have a chat and say hello to Matt as well if you have a moment too, because he is absolutely your connector into our team and certainly into the university if you're interested in engaging and connecting with us. So broadly, why does the Macquarie Partnerships team exist? The reality is that universities house an incredible amount of expertise. Every university has its own nuanced differences and strengths and capabilities. The challenge oftentimes for industry is how do you actually connect, engage, and access and ultimately partner with universities so that you can access that expertise in whatever way, shape, or form you need to as a university institution. And there are lots and lots of different ways that industry can partner and connect with university institutions. A huge part of what universities offer is research capability. And we can actually engage with industry through what we call research partnerships in a whole host of different ways. And those research partnership opportunities, they arise and they evolve through a whole different course of actions as well. So I thought today I'd give you a bit of an insight into what types of research partnership avenues there are, also how those research partnerships evolve over time, and then too for you to get a bit of a sense as to the breadth and depth of research that we have access to as an institution, not just within university, but by virtue of our membership and our connection to broader research networks, be they sort of state government funded research networks or even just more broadly how we're positioned as a university institution. Because one of the values of connecting certainly with the university through our team is that whilst, Matthew is our segue into the Faculty of Science and Engineering, the reality is that I have a whole team of people that are segues into various parts of the university. And we all sit and work and connect and engage very readily with each other so that if you're looking for something at Macquarie, we will find it for you. You don't have to navigate the institution. We are your front door to connecting with the university. So all we need to know from you is what it is that you're looking for and potentially why, and then we will connect you with the right person and the right people to make that happen. And then we can shape whatever that sort of offering is that you're looking for. So that's broadly the objective. So as a team, as I say, we are the front door to connecting and engaging with the university, specifically in relation to research, but also we've spoken today about other avenues to connect with the university for reason of learning and teaching, for example. So you might want access to our students. Every industry organisation out there today is faced with challenges around accessing talent and retaining talent. So you're wanting access to the best and brightest students and people that are coming out of university and attaining their relevant education, but you're also wanting to retain those people. And retaining talent means keeping them trained and educated, keeping their education current. And oftentimes too, the external landscape means that there are priorities, be they the Sustainable Development Goals, be they the legislative environment that you're operating within, be they just the scarcity of the skills that you're looking for, given the nature of the work that it is that you do as an industry partner. So that means that there is an imperative to keep your people educated, not just that they're popping out of university and you're finding them a job to start. You're actually looking to keep those people for the long term and to keep them educated. So all of the skills that Tracy has spoken of here and the expertise that sits within the university, that applies through all sorts of avenues. We want to put that expertise to use and to good and practical use for industry by teaching our students and popping them out as graduates, but also by teaching your workforces. But specifically the research piece. So my team can facilitate all of those. And I think part of the benefit of connecting to the university through a team like ours is that we can foster those multidisciplinary and multifaceted partnerships for you as industry. So you're not having to navigate the whole university to make that happen, but we want to sit back and sort of say, what are your needs and priorities? What are the challenges that you are faced with as an organization, as an institution? And then we can liaise with Tracy and Agnieszka and other colleagues across the university to bring together the right people. So what then is a research partnership? What does it actually look like? For an industry partner, you might have a very specific problem that you want solved. You might have a program that you need evaluated. You've just got a very specific question that you want an answer to, and you're looking for someone you want some evidence-based research undertaken by an organization or by a very particular academic. And universities are extremely well placed, of course, to do that for an industry organization. So you can look to engage a university like Macquarie to undertake what we would call contract research for you. So really that's you giving us a very specific problem, and we then work with you to design a project proposal that meets your needs and requirements. And we can move as quickly as it is that you need to, given your particular needs and requirements, and we can build capacity and bring the right people to the table to do that. So that's contract research. Collaborative research is really about us working with you. So this is about you perhaps doing some of the research as well as the university. So there are opportunities here for the university and our industry partner to co-design something, to co-design a piece of research together that we think is going to create that real impact that it is that you're looking for, that's going to reap benefits for you as a discrete organization, as an industry partner, and potentially and hopefully too more broadly beyond the particular cohort of people within your organization. So that's collaborative research. So that's really us working together to do the research. And then we've got these major research initiatives. So we've spoken here about some of the training centres and the training hubs that sit within the Faculty of Science and Engineering, and more broadly to the university is party to what are called cooperative research centres or centres of excellence. But these major research initiatives are not a discrete project that has a start and an end date. This is about lots and lots of partners from across Australia, from industry, from government, from the private sector, not-for-profit sector, coming together and working together on key areas of government priority around manufacturing or whatever it may be in STEM, in the humanities, in the social sciences. But these are those big societal challenges. These are the big things that are important to government. And they need a collective of organisations, a collective of individuals to work together over a very concentrated period of time and for a long period of time to make real change and real impactful change in those areas. So these are big initiatives that are funded by government that maybe take a year or two to actually bring all the partners together, industry and the university, or universities plural, dotted across Australia, and they might be funded for 5 years or 7 years or 10 years. So they're big ventures. So we're looking for very different perspectives to come to the table and be part of those major research initiatives. So they're a fantastic way to really play an impactful role as an industry partner. If we think then about the pathways to research impact, how do these projects even come about? Very rarely is it a case of an industry partner coming to a university and saying, here's my problem, can you solve it? We might foster the very beginnings of a partnership with you just through a conversation just like today. So general networking, where we have sort of common interests and common challenges that we're looking to solve and play a role in. And it might be a consultancy project, so we could do some training for your organisation. We could deliver a workforce development training session. You can come into the university and do guest lectures, for example. You might have a placement opportunity for one of our students or a number of our students, and so on. So lots of different avenues for us to sort of have those initial connections. And in time, as we get to know each other better, we can sort of orchestrate and design research work together. So thinking about broadly, what's the benefit of engaging with the university, with Macquarie University? We're not just Macquarie, we're part of many, many networks of other universities. And particularly here, there are some state government priorities around space, around defence innovation, around sensing, and around semiconductors that we're part of state-funded research networks. So we can also tap into those networks as well to bring the right people to the table to do research for and with you. So then really, as we kind of look to wrap this up, what is it then that is the benefit of partnering with a university to do research, either us do research for you or do research with you? It helps you to build capacity. It helps you to solve problems that you're faced with, and ultimately for you as an organisation and for society. We can help to inform decision making as well. So we can do evaluations of programs that you're already running, or we can help to do research. We can do an evaluation to help inform a project or a program that you want to implement within your own organisation or for a particular sector. So I'm not sure where we're at, but in essence, that's okay. That was my side anyway. But if you did want to connect with us, certainly please do say hello to myself or to Matthew this evening while we're here. But thank you very much for your time and the opportunity to join you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you both. The waters. Thank you. This was a wonderful insight on how much everything has grown just in 1 year. I know there's much more. Yes, which is a perfect picture of how fast things are going. So like we say in Spain, o te subes al tren o se va sin ti. Grab and go up and seize the moment, because if not, it will pass and others will go ahead, right? So I would like to ask our second and third session panelists to come up front, please. Cristian Criado Perez, Business Insight Institute from Business School of University in New South Wales, and also a member of SRAP, the Spanish Association of Scientists in Australia and Pacifico. And Marius, if you could come, our honor, it's an honor to have you here from the other side. He came to Australia and we managed to have him here today with us in Instituto Cervantes for the day. Marius is the Vice Chancellor, as I said before, for International Relations of the La Universidad Autónoma de Barcelona, Professor Marius Martínez Muñoz. Without further ado, I give you the floor. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Coral. Thanks for the invitation to come here today. It's a pleasure to present here today, and it was very interesting to see the previous presentation because it's somewhat linked, of course, as we're under this theme of connecting industry and academia. And so today, my aim is to give you a little snapshot of the journey that we are in at UNSW, particularly at the business school. I'm going to be focusing on the faculty of the business school, which is where we are hosted. On focusing, giving you an example of how it's been for us in putting an extra effort into trying to increase that engagement with industry. So, if we can have the next slide, please. Have it here. Oh, perfect. All right. So, the original issue that we're trying to grapple with here is this divide between industry and academia. And I know that there are other faculties that do much better than business in collaborating with industry. But in the discipline, general discipline of business, whether it's management or other schools within our faculty, we acknowledge that there is this great divide often between academics and practitioners. So if you caricaturize a little bit, we often depict the academics as standing in this ivory tower far away from what's actually happening, studying practice from afar rather than getting involved. And then likewise, practitioners at the right, busy with their urgent and immediate problems and not necessarily stopping and looking outside of their context, outside of their organizations for better solutions because, well, there's too much pressure for immediate deadlines. And so this issue actually lies very close to my heart. My PhD was focused on evidence-based management and trying to foster management decisions based on the best available evidence. And as a way to try to tackle this problem, UNSW, like other universities in Australia, has really increased their efforts in trying to work together with industry. So just to give you a little bit of context, UNSW is a very highly ranked university, particularly the business school. We're very proud that we were ranked the first in Australia. We're talking about 300 plus academics within the faculty that, as you would imagine, have a huge range of a very diverse expertise. So the subject matter experts on very wide range of things. But the problem is that knowledge and expertise actually getting out there and influencing policy and practice as much as it should or could? Or is it just ending more in academic journals and not having the impact it could have? And so any extra effort to try to increase that collaboration with industry, in the business school, we've recently put an extra effort in creating different research centers called labs or hubs, depending on their size and characteristics. But basically, these are centers, they're groups of academics that have partnered with external partners, with an industry partner, and focusing on solving an important problem for industry or for society as a whole. So as you can imagine, with somewhere, even if we're only talking about one faculty, the business school, within the business school, we've got School of Economics, of Marketing, of Management. There's a wide range of issues that we're working on. So to give you some examples of these research centers, we have one on the Climate Change Center. So looking, for example, at the impact that climate change is having on business, the risk factors that they have to start considering. Digital Sustainability Knowledge Hub, which focuses on how these organizations today can actually achieve their sustainability goals by embracing more digital technologies and how that's going to be shaping their organizations. Or, for example, a hybrid work leadership lab, which is actually very relevant since COVID, because since then we've really changed the way we work. Hybrid work and remote work is definitely here to stay, and we're not necessarily used to it or experts at it. And so there are many management practices or policies and norms within the organization that we have to learn how to adapt to work in the best possible way within that configuration. So these are just some examples. Besides having these research centers, we were finding there was so much more we could be doing. There's still a lot of confusion, like I believe Tracy was saying, of industry partners not really knowing how to approach the university, and if they do want to collaborate to us, who should they contact? Where should they go, right? And we're well aware of this problem. So what we created about a year ago, I joined UNSW to create what we've called the Business Insights Institute. Now, this institute is an umbrella for all of the research centers we have, with one clear goal, which is to bring the research of the business school to life. And we want to do that by engaging a lot more with industry. But we know that we'll have some challenges along the way because, well, industry is not necessarily thinking of coming to a university when they have a problem, like you just mentioned, or because they might have, well, all kinds of different needs. And so we're learning how to adapt. We're sort of over the past year, we've been a bit of in a startup mode, learning what works to increase that engagement with industry. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of a brief summary of what we've learned from this past year, and some examples of these successful collaborations that we've had. So what we found, for example, what we works very well is to have this institute as a bit of a concierge, where an industry partner can approach us. They know where they have to come, they know who they have to talk to, and then it's our role to talk to them, understand their problem, and then put them in touch with the subject matter experts within the faculty. And sometimes it's within the business school, but often we collaborate with experts and academics from other faculties too. The kind of services that we provide, often we are asked simply to translate what is the latest research in a particular topic. So perhaps an industry partner, we have one example where they're not interested in a training or in a big intervention or anything like that. They just want to know, hey, what is the latest evidence in this particular topic? So we have, of course, academics that are very used to combing the literature and identifying the best available evidence on that topic. Often we also conduct research that focuses on a particular problem that they're having. And I'll go more into detail in the following slides on that. And then other times they are looking for some sort of training, development, or intervention. And we help them design one that is really, that tackles the exact problem that they're having, their particular context. But most importantly, rather than delivering the training and walking away, we are sticking around and we are measuring in a rigorous and systematic way, what is the impact of that training? Not only in the trainees, but on their teams, on their organization, are we getting the results that we were hoping for? And if not, what is it that we need to amend? So like I was saying, every industry partner has a different interest in collaborating with us, with whether it's UNSW or other universities in Australia. So what we found best is to approach it as a co-design, a partnership where we're co-designing the way we're working. Most often we're first sitting down and having a thoughtful conversation with them to understand what it is that they want to get out of this. Then we draw from our in-house expertise. So we have to be aware of what is the expertise of our academics and put them in touch with them. Also, we have to consult with other key stakeholders, perhaps even talk to, policymakers in their sector, with their clients. Importantly, we collect and analyze evidence. So sometimes we jump onto the evidence that's provided within their own organizations to better understand the problem. Often we also have to look at scientific research. And then finally, of course, we draw on the capabilities that we have at the university at UNSW, whether it's education. So for example, the training might be delivered by AGSN, which is our, where we have all the executive education. We connect them with the research labs that I was discussing before. All right, so the way I've described it so far, it seems like we're doing everything. Of course, that's not the case. We have to focus on the particular themes. If not, the industry partner is going to be, a bit confused. Well, of course, you don't have the magic solution for everything, or expertise and everything. No, we don't. But we do have, as I said, a very diverse range of expertise, and we've framed them around these 4 themes, which we know from our conversations with industry are really salient in their minds today when grappling with business-related problems. So I'm going to give you some examples in each of these of collaborations that we've been doing, either through the Research Center directly or through the Insights Institute. So for example, in terms of future of work, and this space has really been bubbling since over the past few years. We all know that a lot of things around work have changed dramatically, and therefore we need to adapt. So for example, we have worked with Fraser's Property exactly for this problem, to try to understand how is it that they need to, what is it that they need to change to successfully work in a hybrid work model. We also partnered with Woolies X. So this is the digital branch of Woolworths in helping them uplift their digital capabilities, and particularly during the COVID time, this was particularly fruitful. And an example of course, research that's going on within the university in this space. I can distribute the slides later if you're interested in looking into this. We've got hyperlinks to these, but we've got work around, well, questions that are relevant to practitioners today. Like, for example, what is it that organizations need to do today to retain their talent? When we were amidst what was labeled as the Great Resignation, or the shortage of skill that is affecting some sectors in Australia. For example, what is the evidence of what practices work with hybrid work models, the future of casual work, or how to create individualized work arrangements. Again, very relevant for the way we're working nowadays. Then we have another theme which focuses on leadership development. And this is more closely related to the kind of training that we can deliver and evaluate for our industry partners. So for example, here we partnered with AGSM, which like I said, is where we have the MBAs and other executive education, where we give we are training up the top 300 leaders at Woodside. Or with New South Wales Health, where we're also giving leadership development training. I'm trying to speed up a little bit. ESGs are more and more prevalent and definitely affecting business practice, and therefore another theme that is very relevant for practitioners. So for example, we're developing a tool that serves as a dashboard for organizations so they can quickly identify how they're doing in terms of ESGs and benchmark with their competitors. Or we helped Atlassian to understand how to improve in terms of psychological safety. And digital transformation, of course, another very important theme. So for example, we have a research, a knowledge hub that focuses on digital sustainability, which is how do organizations achieve those sustainability goals through the adoption of digital technologies. And of course, we're on top of the implementation of AI and machine learning to the context of business. Right, so similar to Tracy, I believe it was, Katrina, I'm going to wrap up with, okay, why would an industry partner want to partner with us? And I'm addressing similar conclusions to you. I mean, pretty much what we see is that, it depends on your situation, but pretty much by engaging with subject matter experts, they can learn what is their sector, how is their sector, how are they doing in comparison to the sector, what are the major shifts that are happening that experts with outside the organization might be seeing. It helps them think about the future strategy of their organization and make more informed decisions. And of course, they can do so through various ways. Like I said, sometimes a simple, rapid assessment of the evidence to a whole organization-wide intervention or training. Or sometimes we have some enduring collaborations where, for example, together we are applying for a grant application, or we are working on having industry-sponsored PhD students housed within our faculty. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, I'm happy to take them. At the end? All right. Very well.
So my mission is to explain how we connect with industry in our university, the Autonomous University of Barcelona, Universitat Autònoma de Barcelona, in less than 20 minutes. So let's try to do that. Well, this is not how it should appear, but anyway, 6 features to define my university. It's a comprehensive, research-intensive, green campus university. It's a leader in the international rankings in Spain and worldwide. It's, as I said, intensive in research, diverse and inclusive, innovative, and green. I would like to show you a 2-minute video to get a taste of our university. Can you please play this video, please? It will take 2 minutes. No, that's not the video. No. Would that be possible? Now. Oops. There it is. Full screen, please. Now. Just a taste of our university in 2 minutes. As you have seen, it's green. That's our campus, a 240 hectares campus with pretty nice green areas around, with many services inside. But which is most important for me in here is that the campus is really next to this high speedway, which is called B30. And around this B30 high speedway, there's many industry parks, many municipalities together, around 30 municipalities of middle-sized cities. And there's a lot of industries around, and we are trying to connect all this. So we are trying to be a relevant part of this ecosystem, promoting the connections between industry, between citizens, between municipalities and their local authorities with us. We are trying to work together there. We have this, what we call strategic oriented research communities, which are groups of, sort of a hub of research groups dealing with the same topics. And we have several of them in our universities. We have a research park inside our university as well, which is connecting our researchers with industry and with administrations also. We have incubators there, and we have entrepreneurship programs for our students, senior students and research students. We have living labs in our university open to people outside, and we have shortened this process of innovation at the university with the living labs, in where researchers or also the industry can come and prototype their ideas with us. We have many other resources there, and we are trying to connect all this to create this hub in which society will see us as an open front office, both physical and virtual, where to go, where to explain things, and where to work together with us. We are trying to put in reality these concepts, this is not now emerging, but these important concepts of open science, open citizen science, and co-creation of knowledge. Because we are no longer the only owners of knowledge in our territory, but we have to interact with others if we want to truly respond to societal needs, which is our duty. We are a public university. So to do so, we have a couple of very strong strategies. The first one is this hub. This strategy started around 10 years ago, and now we have 30 municipalities around us, linked with us, and these industrial parks, most of them linked also with these municipalities around this so-called hub B30. But there's another strategy, a new one, which is permitting us to align even more our own strategies and the work our researchers are doing, which is this initiative from the European Commission called European Universities. And I would like to dedicate some minutes to explain a little bit more about that. So this idea came from President Macron from France around 4 years ago. At that time, nobody knew what was a European university, that concept. That was explaining a lot the success of this initiative. So we didn't know what was that, but we knew that that was going to be an important thing in Europe. So we enthusiastically enrolled there. There was an open call financed by Erasmus at that time, 2019, and some 50 initiatives applied for that call. Only 17 were granted. And then there was a second and a third initiative. Now we have 44 alliances in Europe trying to build this new concept of European university, which means a transnational university participated and owned by universities from Europe. Our initiative from my university, ECIU University, which stands for European Consortium of Innovative Universities. It's not very creative, the name of the network, but and even less the name of the university. ECIU University is the largest of these initiatives, and it's composed by 13 universities from Europe. Those initiatives have some ideas in common. One of them is that the basic approach to work together is what we call the challenge-based approach. So we are promoting challenge-based learning, we are promoting challenge-based research, and challenge-based innovation. And what is a challenge? Of course, we can receive and we are welcoming industries coming to us because, for example, they do not have a marketing plan and they would like to have a marketing plan. That's not a challenge. That's about knowledge and about money. If you are able to pay a marketing plan, then you pay a marketing plan and you have a marketing plan. Challenges are things that are not really solved, affecting societal welfare, or affecting productivity, or affecting the capacity of development of an enterprise, of a group, of an institution. That's a challenge. So something for which we do not have yet an added value answer. We start from that. Challenge-based learning, then, it's a methodology that we use starting from a challenge rather than from a syllabus of a subject. So in our subjects, which when they are challenge-based, we start by presenting challenges. And from that challenge, then we try to mobilize, we try to gather, we try to put together all the knowledge, all the skills, all the values, norms, and other ideas or technology or whatever it will be needed to try to solve that unpleasant situation. Of course, challenges do not understand about subjects. So most societal challenges are interdisciplinary. So we are trying to move the way we teach and the way our learners learn into a more interdisciplinary approaches to society, to analyzing what's going on around us and how we can better contribute to solve this situation. That's challenge-based learning. To do that, we build teams and we appoint teachers, as we call them, which are professors who are trained to monitor and guide this learning process through which students can do three things, basically. First, empathize with the context. So understand which is the problem, which is the need, which is the challenge. Then they investigate, and then they act. And through these three actions, we make a synthesis of the whole process in which we use for, of course, design thinking and many other strategies able to develop that process. So through this process, our students are trained in the same way as a professional would act in a real setting. So identifying challenges, understanding where's the challenge, investigating and mobilizing all the knowledge available and even co-creating some more knowledge to better solve that problem, that challenge, and to better serve society. Challenge-based learning. But we are trying to apply that also to research. So some of these challenges are transformed into a learning opportunity inside a subject or extracurricular. So we are developing challenge apart from our curriculum proposals, but we can also transform a challenge into a research project. And then a research project can turn also into a thesis, a doctoral thesis, for example, or a competitive research project in which we claim for funds to an administration, for example, or other types of activities. And altogether, both challenge-based learning and challenge-based research turn into challenge-based innovation. So that's the way we are connecting our university with society, through challenges. To do so, we have created an office. Guess the name of the office? Challenges Office. Very creative as well. So through this office, which is very new, it was created only 3 months ago, we have a set of people there. They try to attract all these industry partners around us, around this ecosystem. They are trying to listen to them. We are promoting through our research park and other strategies that I don't have time to mention now, but we are promoting this approach to industry, to society. They will see us as an open agora where they can come, they can tell us about them. Of course, we take care about industrial property, about confidentiality, and many other issues involved. That's not an open place where everybody can talk about whatever and everybody can listen to see which are the challenges. / the problems of the competence. That's not the case. So we are working there to try to listen to them and to promote spaces in which they can see us, as I said, as this agora, this open agora, ready for them. We are also piloting this in our faculties. We have 13 faculties. I have in this PowerPoint, there's many other slides. I'm not going to bother you with all those slides, but this will be here. And you will have the opportunity to check. But we are piloting this in two faculties, in the humanities faculty and in the faculty of biosciences. And in these two faculties, we are transforming subjects according to this approach, monitoring the process, training our faculty, and trying to see if it will work as we want to, and having to identify lights and shades. So that was a very quick approach to what we do. I think I don't have many other, slides. So thank you very much for your attention, and I'm open to your questions too. Thank you.
Well, thank you. This was an incredible insight, if you don't mind me borrowing that word. We can hear people because our classes, Spanish classes are starting, but that's the aim of we promote not only culture, but also the knowledge of Spanish. So we've talked about very important and key issues here. Instituto Cervantes in Sydney, responsible for Australia and New Zealand, is collaborating with Spanish universities, as always, as usual, and it's wonderful to work with them hand in hand, and with Australian universities. And it's wonderful, once again, to have Macquarie University and University of New South Wales, and of course, organized with SRAP, a conference where we can actually see what we can do, who we can call, because that's one of the main issues here that has been tackled. Who or where can we contact when there's an interest from the industry? So as we all know, those that live here, there's a shortage of high level of expertise workers here in Australia. There is not a shortage, but it's never going to be enough of international mobilities coordination, cooperation with Spanish and Australian universities. And we would truly like to honor and have that increase. And it's Instituto Cervantes. We foster, of course, the knowledge of Spanish, the science in Spanish, research in Spanish, to enhance our Spanish researchers, and collaboration with the university sector, and with all our collaboration with our Spanish-speaking countries, as Instituto Cervantes is responsible for the promotion of Hispanic culture. And here today we have with us consulates from Spanish-speaking countries. We have a representative of the industry, very important industries here in Spanish industries in Australia. Also, the Spanish attaché from the commercial office, Noel Campbell, former ambassador of Spain, of so many countries, Madrid, Austria, Argentina. It goes without saying that with all of us here in place, we can finally have each and every one of us are experts in a certain area, but we all have common issues. As I said before, not only promotion of research, science, to answer to that challenge, which is the shortage of skills. And of course, when you go back, because this is a double way, not only is mobility, international mobilities of student, teachers, and researchers, but it's coming to Australia, but also going to Spain. And of course, you have to come to Instituto Cervantes to learn the Spanish and cultural heritage to be able to adapt as fast as possible. So without further ado, I would like to give the floor for any questions that there might be online or face-to-face, I mean, here present. Si te puedes presentar.
See, my name's Noel Campbell. As you mentioned, Coral, I'm a former Australian ambassador to Spain. I currently work part-time at the Australian National University at the Centre for Latin American Studies. My question is to you, Marius. I was very intrigued by your challenge-based approach to learning, to research, and to innovation. It seems to me that if we're talking about collaboration between Spain and Australia, we should be talking about common challenges and comparing notes on what our priorities are and how we are approaching them to see if there's space for greater collaboration between individuals or institutions in our two countries. Can you, with a view to trying to fill that gap or tell us a little more about some success stories that have occurred between industry and the Autonomous University of Barcelona so that we can get a greater idea of the sorts of things that have worked based on this approach? And secondly, I guess your views on whether there are common challenges that you think there could be more collaboration between your institution, for example, and Australian institutions, or generally between industry and academia. I mean, the obvious standouts to me would be things like climate change or food security or harnessing scarce water resources. But if you could just give us a bit of an example, A, of success stories, and B, of areas that there might be opportunities for greater collaboration.
Thank you very much for your question. Very briefly and very quickly, I will give you an example of one of these challenges. Was suggested by a huge NGO operating in Spain with more than 100,000 beneficiaries. 100,000 beneficiaries. They had a sort of a supermarket for very poor people in a neighborhood next to us. And that sort of supermarket, which was not really a supermarket, was a place in which they were delivering food baskets to people, was not creating agency to these very poor and very vulnerable people. So that was a challenge, how to transform that into something different. There was a group of students, international students. I didn't mention that in this European university, we are trying to build this challenge approach together. So that this challenge was offered to our international students in the network. Some 12 of them joined the challenge with 4 team chairs coming from different areas. And they started trying to figure out how to transform that situation in which that was a food supply to people, let's say, to something more active for those people. And then transform that into, I gave a clue at the beginning, sorry, into a sort of a supermarket in which they were working. Those people were working there, and it was like a time bank in which they were providing their personal time. They were working there, and at the same time, they were getting what they needed. Not what the institution was delivering to them on a weekly basis, but on a daily basis, what they needed. That project lasted for 1 year, and it transformed completely a very traditional way of subsidizing people to a very more active way in which they were creating agency for those people. And this was done by students from universities all over Europe. What do I mean with that? We are sharing problems. There's poverty all around. And they are having this type of NGOs operating all over Europe, all over the world, I would say. And you were mentioning climate change. Of course, what are we doing to save water, for example, and to manage water resources? That's a common issue in all our societies. I didn't mention too that these ecosystems are being built up in all our 13 member universities. So we are trying to collaborate in building these ecosystems together. Another example, we've been visiting Linköping University in the very north of Europe, where they are trying to build the same type of ecosystem around, for example, this notion of smart cities. So we are collaborating on that too. That's a typical example in which we can collaborate here. I've just visited Macquarie University, and they were mentioning that you are going to build here in this region 3 new cities in the next coming years. There should be green and smart cities. How to do that? Universities should play a crucial role there. That's a huge challenge where universities can provide part of the knowledge, not all the knowledge. Those are the examples. And I forgot the second question.
Areas, common challenges where you would see a scope for further collaboration, such as smart cities, such as challenge change.
Yeah, exactly. I've already answered you in that.
I answered it before.
Yeah, but you are right. So challenges are global. Of course, they are then defined locally, and they have local particularities, but challenges are global. Public transportation, energy. Well, the list is endless. But we have already identified many areas of common and shared interest in which we have very good researchers, and you do have very good researchers, and I believe in all over the territory in which we can match these challenges and we can match these interests. So I think that's the easiest part. The most tricky part is how to solve those challenges. That's why we are here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, we are running a bit late, and we're very on the dot with the time, and we're very proud of that. There will be interaction shortly online. This is streaming live, so it will be ongoing for eternity. So we have to be very careful with what we say. It goes without saying that this is the start of a new beginning. Not that it hasn't been done before, but this is a very interactive, cooperative approach. There will be more conferences in this matter, but the key idea is that we're all in this together. We all have our area of expertise, and it's quite obvious that it's mutually beneficial for all of us. Where can the industry go to find a solution to their problem? We found some solutions or some possibilities in the presentation of each and every one of our speakers. Instituto Cervantes in Sydney will always promote collaboration amongst universities and in solution to our current challenges, our day-to-day challenges. Professor Tracy has listed a couple of many priorities. There are so many more. We've been in this for Marius's honor in the university, and it's been very insightful to see everything that is being done. And it's an ongoing story, as it should be. And there are so many Spanish universities that have the same or similar priorities, challenges, and there's industries that can help, industries that can even give some spotlight, some challenges that we may have not focused on before, and anything that we can do to promote these international mobilities, partnerships that are aimed at certain goals, challenge-based. This is an ongoing story, and it should be, and we will always be here to promote this, to promote knowledge, to promote research in Spanish, and to promote language. And this is Instituto Cervantes going live. Well, thank you so much. It's been an honor to be here. It's been an honor to have you here. Enjoy our catering, and for everybody that's online, you're always welcome here in Sydney at Instituto Cervantes. I once again would like to thank President of SRAP once again for organizing this wonderful conference, and once again Tracy, Katerina, for being here. Thank you so much, and thank you so much University of New South Wales, but Christian, and thank you so much for coming from so far. Marius from the Universidad Autónoma de Barcelona. We've managed to steal him a whole day of his life, but I certainly hope you think so, but I truly think it has been worth it. It's been an honor to have you here with us today. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you.